Yeah, I'm pretty hungry.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Let me call 1 second. I can call with the phone. You can call in Italy? You can call in Italy?
Yeah.
You're not gonna pay?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
Can we call this number?
Hold on, don't say anything.
He's filming.
Oh.
Okay, let's go. So today we picked up Mark to start off our first day in Rome, and I've known Mark for several years. I think we met for the first time back in 2013 at New York Comic Con. He is from Baltimore, Maryland, and he is, I call him Superstar Chan, because this guy travels all over the place playing the ocarina, and he goes to Asia all the time. He is super well known in China and in Taiwan and in Japan and in South Korea, and he loves ocarinas just as much as I do, if not more. And because he travels so much, he's actually helped me out at a couple different conventions together, so we've gotten to hang out a lot at several festivals in the past. We did the actually I think we did both the 2011 and the 2015 festivals together. And then we did a couple conventions together with Songbird Ocarinas. So yeah, he's one of my best Acamigos. So we went to the airport, we picked up Mark, we went to Roxy's place to drop off all his stuff, and then we started our adventure in Rome. This day was really important to me on the trip because I really wanted to explore some of the early church history. And as a Christian, I really wanted to learn a little bit more about, in particular, St. Paul, who, out of all of the apostles, I really admire his, how passionate and how driven he was. I really wanted to explore Paul's impact on the early Christian church, and so the first place that we were going to hit up was the Basilica of St. Paul.
Hi!
Hi guys, we're at the Basilica of
San Paolo, fuori le mura.
And we're going to be exploring Rome today and tomorrow with our friend Nikki. This is Mark Chan, Roxy Rocks TV, and yeah, let's go check it out.
Yes!
I'm not exactly sure if it's a church or not. I know it was one of the earliest buildings in the Catholic Church, but this place was massive. This being the first religious building that we visited throughout this entire trip, I think had a really large impact on me, because to see how they were trying to honor this man who was one of the founders of the Christian church and one of the first missionaries. So just seeing how grand it was on the outside, on the inside, seeing all the memorials to him, the statues, they really tried to capture all his characteristics, how much of a seeker of truth he was, how much love he had for his fellow man. And what was really cool is that we actually got to see the spot where the church says his remains are, which you can't really see, so I'm not sure if that's true or not, but just having that area dedicated to him in memoriam was really awesome. There were so many different rooms all over this, places where there was like choirs. There was a room dedicated to singing and to making music. There was places dedicated to past popes. Lots of beautiful artwork, and the architecture was gorgeous. And one of my favorite parts was the outside. Just there's all these beautiful Roman pillars and a courtyard with a statue of Paul in the center, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I loved all the detail that they put into the ceiling work as well of early Christian church members and Paul and his missions, and yeah, they just really tried to capture his life story as best as they could. After that, we met with Roxy's friend Sylvia, who we actually got to spend a little time with the previous day, and it was a really good lunch. I had a panini, which I hadn't had in a couple years, so that was really delicious, and it was a beautiful day outside as well, so it was cool just to hang out and grab a quick meal. One of the things that I was really looking forward to was visiting the catacombs. You hear about these underground catacombs where they buried lots of members of the early church. And the one that we went to in particular was the Catacombs of San Callisto. And this is supposedly one of the very first catacombs in Rome. And at this particular one, they had all these really crazy tours happening. Like lots and lots of people went to this catacomb because it's one of the few that you can actually go down into and learn more about the early Christians. So we fumbled around a little bit looking for the right language because they had a different group for every language of visitors, and we chose the English one. And it was a pretty small group. It was maybe a dozen people compared to the others that had 2 to 3 dozen. And they took you down. They showed you some of the original art on the walls of the early Christian church. They explained some of the imagery, and then they talked about the different popes that were laid to rest there. About 7 or 8 of them, of the very first popes, were there, and then also the different sections of it. We couldn't go down beyond the second level, but they showed us some of the catacombs of the rich families that were laid to rest there. And then they talked a little bit about the further down you go and just how many Christians were laid to rest. But one of the cool things is that because of the persecution that they were receiving through the Roman Empire, they actually held church services down there. And they showed us one of the last rooms was kind of like a little steeple or like a little place where the priest would give communion, and it was really cold down there, and it was very somber. As you can imagine, this was basically a cemetery, an underground cemetery, but I had a sense of peace in just thinking about the sacrifices that people made and how persecuted they were. I think really had a big impact on me. We spent probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours there, and the last place I wanted to visit that day was the Three Fountains Abbey, which this is just a legend, but they say that this is where Paul died. Apparently, he was taken to this place after he was imprisoned in Rome, and he was beheaded at this particular location, which is farther away from the more famous fountains, the Tre Fontane. But this is also called the Three Fountains, and the reason it has that name is because when he was beheaded, according to legend, his head bounced 3 times, and every spot that his head hit, a fountain sprung up. And so they built this small church around this place, and unfortunately it was locked when we got there. I asked Mark and Roxy if I could actually have a few moments outside the church to just reflect on everything that we experienced that day, and I really wanted to just think about how much Paul sacrificed and what his life essentially boiled down to, which was loving others and God's love for us, and that inspired me, and I really wanted to try to write a song from that inspiration. So I took out my ukulele and started singing. After about half an hour there in the garden area, I went back to the car and we decided to go grab some dinner again, and it just happened to be pizza. Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Overall, it was a very full day. We saw lots of amazing things. I very much felt inspired by everything that we saw, and I'm glad I got to at least get started on my first song of the 6, and I'm really excited about picking up Nikki tomorrow, so we'll see how much rest we can get before then. Guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode, and I post new vlogs every Thursday, so if you don't want to miss those, be sure to subscribe, and also give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And I'd love to know, what are some of your favorite things to check out when you travel? Is it the culture? Is it history? Is it the architecture? Leave a comment down below to let me know, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye. That was good.
I think so.